In the near future, Social Security recipients are about to receive a $600 increase. I want to explain where that's coming from and exactly how much you're going to get. Now, not only are seniors going to receive a $600 increase, but there are now more discussions to try to get a deal done. Try to find a way to come up with a bipartisan agreement to increase Social Security benefits, but for sure, ensure that Social Security doesn't become insolvent within the next 10 years. So I will address exactly what's going on there. Got to show you this video. It just came out last week. It's from the House Budget Committee. Again, very important stuff. And what you're going to hear from these members is vital. So make sure you stick around for this entire video. All I ask is if you can spend just 2 seconds, go ahead and hit that like button. Now, before we get to this video, it's from the House Budget Committee, and they're holding a markup hearing, okay? But it's for the budget for fiscal year 2024, and in this meeting, they're discussing the alarming facts of Social Security moving forward. But before we get into that, what you need to understand is that on October 12th, 2023, which is just a few weeks away, we're going to have our new CPI numbers. We're going to know what inflation is for the month of September. Now, what is important about this specific month is that this is also when we will have the Social Security Administration come out and tell us how much Social Security benefits are going to increase. What is the cost of living adjustment going to be for 2024? So again, that's in just a few weeks, and that means starting in January, your payment is going to increase by whatever the percentage is. As of right now, the estimate is 3.2%. But here's the thing, if you get SSI, okay, if you get SSI, your check is going to come in December, which means you're going to receive your increase just a little bit earlier. So, I want to talk about this video, and we're going to break it down. We're going to watch the majority of this, and I will break it up in pieces and discuss it. But again, this is a vital video. Just watch. Look at this.
Problem. This is from a piece of legislation that I have authored with Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, who is the chair of the Senate Budget Committee. This would ensure enough revenue is put into the Social Security Trust Fund to secure it through at least the year 2100. And those aren't my figures. The Joint Committee on Taxation has verified that by simply taking away the cap on those who make more than $400,000 a year, that will put in enough money into the Social Security Trust Fund that secures it for the rest of this century. So for people who say, my God, Social Security is running out of money, the only solution is drastic cuts. It's completely false.
Okay, let's talk about that for a second. So by taxing people that make over $400,000 per year, we will have enough money for another century. So instead of Social Security becoming insolvent in 2034, it would actually become insolvent in 2100. Okay, that's very important. Now, let's look at this one right here. Look at this.
We all recognize how important this program is, and it's important that we protect our seniors. If you look at where insolvency is, it keeps moving up. The date gets closer and closer.
I want to point one thing out, that the first person that we heard from, okay, that ranking member in the House Budget Committee, he is proposing this bill. This guy right here, okay, this is Representative Ferguson. Anyway, he is actually in opposition of this bill, and this is why.
It's now within the 10-year window. If you look at what happens in 9 years, the shortfall will be approximately $616 billion in year one. This amendment, if you look at it, talking about removing the cap, on $400,000 would add approximately $86 billion over the 10-year window.
So this right here, it's gonna by taxing the wealthy, okay, it's not bringing in a lot of money. They're expecting it's gonna be, the shortfall is gonna be $600 billion. Okay, that's in 9 years when it becomes insolvent. But if they were to start this, that means the first year they do it, it's bringing in less than $100 billion. That means there's still a massive shortfall that they have to overcome. Okay, so that's part of the issue. Let's keep listening.
It is simply not enough to cover the major shortfall, and we're doing it in a way where we haven't analyzed what that would do to the overall economy in terms of productivity and job creation by continuing to raise taxes.
That's actually very, very big. If we increase taxes, and I know lawmakers want to ensure that we're not taxing the lowest income earners. We're not taxing people making $40,000, $60,000, $120,000. We're taxing people that are making over $160,000, okay, or really over $400,000. But there's some lawmakers that are proposing that we tax people. We just remove the Social Security income, the tax cap, which is capped at $160,200. They want to remove that. So anybody between $160,000 and $400,000 would still be taxed. And that's something that President Biden said, no, absolutely not. That's not something that we can do. But the reason why this is such a big deal is because if we are to tax people that are making $100,000, if we tax them, does it make sense for them to keep working? Does it make sense for their employer to keep them employed? Do we see GDP slow down? Do we see our economy shift? Could happen, and we don't know that for sure. Let's keep listening.
The ranking member talked about his dad paying into the system, just as my parents have as well. They made payments into the system to help support other retirees. And what we're running into is that we don't have enough workers right now paying into the system for the current number of retirees, and that math is only getting worse.
So let's think about that for a second. What he's saying is right now there's not enough people that are working to pay enough money into the system to cover those that are taking benefits. And like he's saying, that the math is only going to get worse. Okay? Let's keep listening.
I'd like to add one other thing. If we simply do this by saying we're gonna raise taxes, we are missing the boat on something that's happening in our economy that's pretty dramatic.
But before he talks about what is coming, let me give you a quick little story. Okay? Actually, we're going to go back to him first, then I'm going to tell you the story. This is actually very important because I'm actually doing this right now. Okay? And I'll explain more in just a second.
And that is the advent of artificial intelligence and the impact that it could have on the workforce. In every single one of the jobs that potentially could be eliminated by AI is another hit to the solvency of both Social Security and Medicare.
Okay. So what he just said, very important. He is saying that by the invention of artificial intelligence, what is happening is artificial intelligence is now taking people's jobs away, taking certain tasks away from individuals. And that means that they are not needed as much. In certain industries, absolutely, you can't get away with that. You have to have a person there. But there's some things that even I'm able to do now with using artificial intelligence. Okay? So what he's saying is as more jobs leave the workforce, and now we're paying for the system, okay? We're paying for the process. We are paying for artificial intelligence. We don't have to pay taxes on that. So that's where he is saying that that's something we need to look at, because as we see more jobs leave the workforce, that's less money coming in to the Social Security Trust Fund. Now, I said I'd give you a story. Here it is. So just recently, I was introduced to a specific software. Now, this software goes and makes different ads, and again, obviously, using Chat GPT or any type of AI, you can get somebody to create an article for you or whatever. Well, this software, it creates your ad, right? The ad copy, it creates the images, everything. And so for one of my other businesses where I sell a lot of products through e-commerce, I run ads. And whether it's on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, it doesn't matter. Okay, but I run ads in order to draw in traffic, and then I sell people a certain product. Anyway, one of the things I've been able to do, instead of hiring a copywriter who he was very good at what he did, okay, instead of hiring a copywriter and then hiring a different editor to create the image and make sure they tied well together, I can use AI for that. So essentially, I got pretty much 3 people, okay? I got rid of a copywriter, I got rid of an editor, and I got rid of a manager. 3 people, all located within the United States. Now, all these people have other people that they work with, they're kind of freelancers, but if you think about it, I am now not paying those people. So those people, the money that I would have spent for them is not going to go in, your percentage isn't going to go into Social Security, because I was able to save that, and now I'm paying for a software. Okay. Now again, I support Social Security. I support the Social Security recipients. I want them to get their benefits, and want to make sure that they're not living below the federal poverty line. However, it's one of those things that exactly what he's saying. As we move away from just the normal workforce, and now we're using artificial intelligence, and that's going to really blow up. That's going to be the next big thing. But as more and more businesses move away from it, there's less money going into Social Security. And that's a huge problem. Okay? Now, listen to this.
It is critical to our seniors, not just the seniors of today, but of tomorrow. We need to make this thing solvent, give seniors peace of mind, and we need to make it sustainable for the future. A couple things. My Democrat colleagues could have addressed this and the Medicare shortfall when they had run of the show, majority in the House and the Senate and the presidency. They didn't do it. Now, I'm not blaming my ranking member or any of my colleagues here, but they didn't do it. And you know what? Republicans didn't do it when we had the run of the show. How about we agree, we just have to get in a room, hash through the pay-fors, hash through the programmatic reforms, and not oversimplify it, but come to a consensus and save that important program that we all know is an earned benefit, as you mentioned, and is critical to our seniors. So with that.
So exactly what he's saying and what many people have said before, Democrats had the majority. They had the majority in the House, the Senate, and they had the presidency, didn't get a deal done. Why? Why could they not have done it? Okay? Why could they not have done that? They even did multiple reconciliation bills. Okay? So there was multiple times where they didn't need a single Republican and they could have got a deal done. So they decided not to do it. He also pointed out Republicans had the exact same power, the exact same advantage. And what they do? Nothing. They didn't get a deal done either. So he's simply saying, let's get together, let's get in a room, let's hash out the pay-fors, hash it all out, right? Figure out a way to ensure that Social Security remains solvent past 2034. Because as of right now, I know we're all talking about increases because what's coming very soon is the cost of living adjustment. However, your cost of living adjustment in 2034, 2035, that might be, let's say you get 4%, great. But if you see a 20% cut, well, that's going to be staggering, and millions of people are going to struggle. So just understand there are discussions happening. And again, a lot of these, this was from September 20th. This was 5 days ago. This is from the House Budget Committee. And this is a hearing on the budget for fiscal year 2024. This isn't even a hearing regarding Social Security. but people are still bringing it up because it is that important. So, just wanted to fill you in on what's happening at this time. Again, as soon as I get more information, I promise I'll fill you in on all the latest news and updates. But thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.